What's up, everybody? It's me, ChillWithEthan, and today I will be doing part 3 of What If Naruto Had the 10 Tails. A quick disclaimer, I have school, so I probably won't be doing videos too often until I'm able to get myself situated. Before we begin, if you have any questions such as why I cut off mid-sentence during the Haku vs. Naruto fight in part 2, it was because I accidentally paused my recording, so sorry about that. If anybody is wondering why Naruto was able to access 2 tails already, it was because his seal is weakening extremely quickly. Alright everybody, sorry about that. Stupid notifications. Plus he already had a decent reserve of Jubi Chakra because of his adamantine chains in part 1. Alright, that's that, and now we're going to get into the what if. So we start off where we left off last time, where Naruto just killed all of the frickin' mob bosses that showed up on the bridge. Naruto probably would have been able to calm down enough by now, so he would recognize emotions again, and that he would realize that Sasuke is not dead at all. Naruto would still be a little angry, so he would just he would smack Sasuke with his palm to wake him up rather than just, tapping him or whatever. Sasuke, after waking up from that extremely jarring smack from Naruto, would ask if Naruto ended up getting Zabuza, Haku, and the mob bosses, and Naruto would say that he did. Naruto would then look up towards Tazuna, Kakashi, and Sakura, and would start rating their emotions. Sakura would be admiring how, just how strong Naruto is in general, but would likely be in fear of his power, and the pressure that she felt from the Jubi. Alright, so Kakashi would just be in awe of Naruto's raw strength and speed, and Tazuna would still be processing everything because he's a freaking old dude, and there would be no detectable emotion or thoughts yet. Naruto would carry both a exhausted Kakashi and a very heavily injured Sasuke all the way back to the Leaf, because, it's like a multiple hour walk, but Naruto couldn't fly, so that doesn't really matter. Sakura and Tazuna would just be following slowly behind. Once they arrived, they would get in and immediately go to Hiruzen's office, where a still somewhat exhausted Kakashi would state that the mission was at least B rank because of running into Zabuza. So in response, Hiruzen would just give them the necessary pay, and Naruto would have, new clothing. Naruto's clothing would be exactly like in the background, except, obviously, he would have white skin because of the 10 Tails. We would start with a time skip, and Kakashi would nominate Team 7 for the tuning exams because they are extremely frickin' broken and OP. Team 7 would just be walking around, and then they would meet Gaara, but because Naruto has the Jubi, Gaara would not have Shukaku. So, Gaara wouldn't be as edgy as in the first time they met in canon. Now, I'm just going to point out that I feel like Gaara would still have his ability to control sand, even though he doesn't have Shukaku. Because after he left after Shukaku left him, he was still able to control sand in canon anyways. So, that would be that. So we would time skip to a few days later, where Kakashi and Sasuke would both be fully healed and ready to go. So the tuning exams would begin, and almost as soon as Team 7 would go into the Forest of Death, Naruto would be sensing a lot of bloodlust, likely from Orochimaru and the Sound 4. So then Naruto would decide almost immediately that Orochimaru would be his target, because he seems to be the strongest there. Almost as soon as Naruto would think about going after Orochimaru would literally appear out of just about nowhere, and would go to bite Sasuke with his super elongated neck. But Naruto would be like, nah fam, and would kick Orochimaru across almost the entire Forest of Death, which would easily rip off Orochimaru's, outer body or skin or whatever. So, because Naruto's kick was so strong, I don't feel like Orochimaru would recover from that very easily. So they would just go over, grab his scroll, because he had the one they needed for whatever reason, because plot. And then they would head back over to the middle of the Forest of Death, and that would be the end of the start of the tuning exams. we skip into the preliminaries where almost every fight would go to canon except for Lee and Gaara. Since, as I stated earlier, that Gaara would still have his sand abilities, I feel like he would have better control over his chakra because, Shukaku isn't fricking it up anymore, since Shukaku is part of the Ten Tails. So I feel like he would have more control over his sand. Lee would still end up opening the 5th gate, but Gaara would still only be destroyed with a few bones broken because his sand would be a little bit more durable, assuming that he would have had more energy and determination to train. Also, since he's not as psychotic as in canon, he wouldn't break Lee's arms and legs for, no reason. So I'm now going to go over a brief explanation of how the finals of the Chunin exams would go. So, Naruto versus Neji. Neji wouldn't even be a challenge for Naruto, because Naruto worked on his speed and strength to get to even higher levels over the month period. So the fight would begin, and pretty much Naruto would immediately body flicker behind Neji. Neji would have already had his Byakugan active because of stories about Naruto being super strong. And before Neji can even react, Naruto would just smack him into the wall. Neji barely even saw him with his Byakugan active because Naruto is gone that fast. Now, I feel like Sasuke would have more determination in this timeline because Naruto is so frickin' OP. So Sasuke probably would have trained more to surpass Naruto. Then again, we know that's probably not going to happen anytime soon, but we're not going to talk about that. So Sasuke would end up having a lot more speed, and I feel like both of his Sharingan would have 3 Tomoe. So Sasuke would end up fighting Gaara, and it would pretty much just be a squash down in Sasuke's favor. Because he would now have, 2nd or 3rd gate speed, from Lee. It would just be smacking around Gaara's sand even without his Sharingan active. So Sasuke would activate his Sharingan, and Gaara would stand pretty much no chance. There would be no Konoha Crush because Naruto has all 10 Jinchuriki. Well, all 10 Biju, so pretty much I don't feel like they would try to attack the Leaf Village at all. So I don't feel like having the Konoha Crush would be beneficial here. Alright everyone, I'm sorry that it was definitely a shorter what if and or video, but if you want to see Valor End or even Shippuden, we'll go for 50 likes on this video. Until then, I'm thinking of starting another what if, which you will likely be seeing that soon. Remember to like and subscribe and hit that bell icon to see whenever I upload more videos. Until next time, peace.